Yo, 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 what up in the hizzy Detroit Lions? Get busy, take down the Green Bay Packers to move on to the playoffs for the second consecutive year. First time since 1994 that they've had consecutive playoff berths. Jake Bates does it again. I mean, this guy was built for kicking game-winning field goals. Incredible story on that one. Detroit gets a home win on Thursday night. These guys have to be just out of their minds after watching dog shit football for pretty much their entire life. Now they're just 12-1, and they went to the NFC Championship game last year. You're taking down the Green Bay freaking Packers, your hated rival. So, got to be a lot of fun for those Detroit fans. Super happy for them. And the Green Bay Packers, even though they lose this game, only 9-4. They're going to make the playoffs. They're a damn good team. They went toe-to-toe with the Giants. Metaphorically speaking, the Giants suck. I'm talking about the Lions. But we're going to jump into all of it. This video won't be too long, but just got to touch base on some things and give you kind of a wrap-up and see what we think of these teams moving forward. So, like and subscribe. Comment down below. Let me know what you thought of the game. And, are the Lions going to go to the Super Bowl? Are the Packers going to take them down in the playoffs? Who knows? So, let me know what you think. Without further ado, let's just get on into it. 34-31, Jake Bates, game-winning field goal. I mean, what is that? His third this year for sure against the Texans tonight as well. Just nuts of steel. Pretty awesome story. Used to be a bricklayer. I mean, we've gone over it. Just pretty freaking sweet. The Detroit Lions, man. Has there ever been a gutsier team in NFL history? 2 touchdowns on 4th down. And then a trip and fall, but hand it off and still get the ball across the line for a first down with like 40 seconds left when you could have kicked a game-winning field goal. He says, no, we're going to end this game with 0 seconds left. You got to love Dan Campbell. You really do. And I'm sure it's a love-hate relationship at times with Dan Campbell if you're a Lions fan. But I understand where he's coming from. This has been his identity since day one. And now that you're good, you don't want to lose that identity. You do have to be smart. But his thought process has to be, we have the best offensive line in the league. We've got 2 of the best running backs in the league. We've got a physicality that nobody can match. So yeah, I think we're going to get this fucking 4th and inches. And we're going to go win the game and kick a game-winning field goal as time expires. So I can understand where he's coming from. Will it bite him in the ass? There's a possibility of that. But that's what's also gotten you here. Do you win this game if you kick field goals on those 4th and goals? And who's to say that the Packers don't have a crazy play, at least get in field goal position, but not go whole length of the field? Yeah, they only have 40 seconds with no timeouts, but football's a weird-ass sport. So, I like it. I hope that when it comes to playoffs that he's a little smarter in situations. You don't need to go for a 4th and inches up by 17. I can understand that. But 4th and goal, half-yard line, going into the half, I like it. Go for it. Set the tone. And on top of all the players they have, they also have one of the best offensive coordinators. So you just feel good about it. Something that has stood out, even though these Lions defenders are dropping like flies, Alan McNeil had to leave the game with a head injury, which they said not a concussion, just a head injury. So not quite sure what that could mean, but hopefully he doesn't miss a lot of time because he is their run stuffer in the middle. They just extended him this year, and they can't afford to lose anybody else on defense. But this defense flies around, man. Kirk Herbstreit mentioned it during the game. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's a new player, an old player, or somebody in between. If the guy's running with the ball, they're sprinting to him. And you can see that hustle come up all over the field and at all moments of the game. Maybe they don't have the talent that they did when they started the season, but they sure as hell got the heart even more. I have a feeling that in their locker room, this has probably bonded them. saying, yeah, we'll lose three of our best players on defense, but doesn't matter. We're going to go out there and we're still going to fucking fuck teams up. And it just feels like that's their identity, and they've embraced this. And even though they gave up 31 to the Packers, which, newsflash, Packers, damn good offense, it just felt like they were still a fast and physical defense that, is going to come up with big plays when they need it to. And it did a couple times throughout this game. So hats off to them, because I'm sure it's just difficult to lose your three best players. Tell me anybody in life that would succeed without, losing the key components of their life. Say you had a parent that you really leaned on. Well, say they died. Then you had a girlfriend you really loved. She dumped you. And then your car broke down. You're going to be as solid in life as you were before? Doubt it. But the Lions still figuring it out. So good for them. Offense humming as usual. Jared Goff threw that one bad pick, but he also had incredible throws. There's nobody as accurate in the league. He's that true pocket passer, the vintage, what I grew up on, and I'm sure what a lot of you guys that are listening grew up on. Just sit in the pocket, dice you up. If you need it on the left shoulder, it's on the left shoulder. If you need it backside by the waist, it's backside by the waist. It's very fun to watch. And another thing I like about the Lions, on a third down? Yeah, it was 3rd and 15 towards the end of the game. And the Lions, they could have run it and killed some more time, but they decided to just throw a 16-yard pass over the middle and come within inches of converting. And it's like, man, a lot of teams would have just run and been conservative. And they said, no, we're going to drop back and throw it deep over the middle. And they get it done. This team is very well rounded, very well coached. They get a little grabby on defense, but you fix a little bit of the technique, and all of a sudden that's not an issue, and you're making big plays instead of big penalties. So hats off to them. Another thing on the Lions, they had all these threes up, like these little banisters with the number 3 on it. I had to look it up. I was like, what are these threes? They're flying it around. I thought maybe they signed somebody that was number 3. I was like, never heard of a number 3. I was like, did somebody die that wore number 3? It's the 3rd down zone or something like that, where a section of the Detroit Lions crowd gets all these plaques and they wave them around. They got to make extra noise on 3rd down. Apparently this has been going on for 7 years, 8 years. I never knew that. I never noticed it. I obviously didn't watch a lot of Lions games up until last year, and I'm probably not alone in that, but kind of a cool thing. So outside of that, Packers side of the ball, defenses look good most of the season. Tonight they got gashed a little bit. You'd expect that with the Lions, but offensively, Jordan Love is playing smart football. No turnovers again. Led them down the field multiple times. Christian Watson had a couple nice plays. Beautiful deep ball to him. Jordan Love, I said in the beginning of the season, he might be a second half player, and he's playing like that right now. I felt like watching him struggle through the first half of last year, maybe trying to get his feet under him, but then being the best quarterback down the stretch. And then in the first half of a couple games in the beginning of the season, but he'd get hot in the second half. So I was like, maybe it takes him a little bit to get into the rhythm of things, as well as, he'd barely been a starter for a year coming into this season. We expect him to pick up where he left off, but maybe he needed to get his feet wet a little bit. He seems healed up. He's playing good football. Reminds me a lot of Drake May. I think Drake May is going to be a little bit more athletic, but they both throw over the middle of the field with fearlessness, and they're not afraid of the consequences, whether good or bad, and they can break the pocket, make big plays, and they're hunting that. They might have some bad throws and bad turnovers, but you'll live with them because of the big plays they make. Jordan Love had that beautiful touchdown pass to Tucker Kraft where he just seeded one into the end zone, downfield shoulder, just perfect placement. Guy was a finger away from touching it. What a laser. Those are the kind of plays that you're going to get with Jordan Love, and you'll live with them. Tough loss. You moved to 9-4, but you're still a damn good football team. You know, going into the Lions' house on Thursday night, you know they're going to get up for it. And you brought it down to the final 2 seconds. So hats off to you guys. I mean, really, I would not want to face you if I'm the Seahawks, if I'm the Falcons. Shit, even if I'm the Lions or the Eagles, I don't want to play the Packers. There's no way. This team is 9-4. They could end the season 12-5 or 13-4 and be a wild card team. And then the Falcons and the Seahawks are probably going to get in with 9 wins. I mean, think about that. So I wouldn't want to face them. Hell no. The Lions fans, they were great tonight. There was one that had an actual cheese grater, an actual cheese, and was grating it while he was on camera. It was just freaking hilarious. You know, these guys have been waiting their whole life for it. They're not going to pipe down. And the best thing about this Lions team is, I mean, this team identifies with that city so well. I mean, it's just such a cool thing. Like, yeah, cool vocabulary by me, but it is. I mean, yeah, they've got a high-flying offense, but there's not one guy on that team that you say, hey, Amon-Ra or Jameson, we're going to run it 45 times for 302 yards and 6 touchdowns, but we're not going to pass the ball once. Are you cool with that? Like, yeah, dude. Well, we win 42-0? I'll take it. Like, that's their mentality. They just want to win, and they want to beat you up doing it. I mean, shit, if this football team was a fighter, they'd be Nate Diaz. They would talk shit, get punched a lot, but at the end, no matter how bloody their face was, they're probably going to win the game. That's actually a great comp by me. The Lions are Nate Diaz of the NFL. Yeah, you're welcome for that one. And then last thing, and we got to touch on this stat because it's freaking incredible. Penei Sewell, we all remember him being drafted by the Lions. Dan Campbell's first pick. He was hyped up to get him in the green room. They were fired up. They got their mauler. Played left tackle at Oregon. They had the choice, you know, or the debate was Jamar Chase or Penei Sewell. Jamar Chase ended up going 2 picks before him. But that was kind of the talk was, you know, are they going to go receiver or offensive line? The Bengals made it easy for them, but it's clearly obvious now that the choice was Penei Sewell all along. They move him to right tackle. They build this wall, which Patriots take notes. But the stat tonight was Penei Sewell has been sacked more times than he's allowed a sack this year. He's allowed 0 sacks, which already in itself is a crazy stat. We're in week 13. This isn't week 4. We're in week 13. He's allowed 0 sacks, but he's been sacked 1 time because he got the ball, but he got tackled behind the line of scrimmage, so it counted as a sack. I don't think we'll ever see a stat like that ever again. If he gives up 0 sacks for the rest of the year, there will never be an offensive lineman that is sacked more times than sacks given up. It's an incredible stat. And Penei Sewell, I mean, he's worth every penny of that contract. And Jamar Chase is as well for the Bengals. Neither of those teams would change it up if they had to do that draft over again. Just thought that was the craziest stat I've ever seen. I've never seen. I mean, that would be like Darrelle Revis throwing for more touchdowns than he gave up as a corner. I mean, you're never going to see it. It's incredible. Lions, they picked a good one, and that team is rolling. They take everybody's best punch, and no matter how many injuries they have, they just keep winning. 12-1. This was a big win, because if they lost this game, they're 11-2. Yeah, they're still damn good. But now the Vikings, if they win, they'll have the same record, and the Packers would be 10-3. All of a sudden, you fall up one more time. I mean, you're going from number 1 seed with a bye to heel all the way to possible 5 seed. 6 seed. So just a huge win by the Lions. Great atmosphere. Packers, I mean, it's not like you got blown out. You lost 34-31 on a game-winning field goal. Like, hell of a game. You'll live with it. You came out of it healthy. Josh Jacobs, last thing. I mean, Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, Joe Mixon, Aaron Jones. These guys deserve a cut of every single paycheck from running backs and free agency from now on. I mean, these guys are getting the future running backs that hit the market or that are up for a contract renegotiation. These guys are getting them paid. Josh Jacobs, another 3 touchdowns tonight. I picked him on my fantasy team, and I figured he would get hot late, and he's done just that. I mean, he's been on a tear. I mean, running backs, they're becoming more valuable, and I always thought that they should always be valuable. I thought it was a stupid argument in the first place. You're telling me the quarterback touches it 35 times a game, passing and running. Well, the running back touches it 20 to 25 times a game, passing and running. Why the fuck wouldn't he be? Why wouldn't you want him to be good? Why would you put more in a receiver that gets, 6 to 7 catches on a good day, but the running back's going to touch it 25 times, 4 times the amount, but we're saying, it's not that valuable. It's like all the people in the 30s and 40s that says, oh, yeah, smoking's not bad for you. Well, it's like, well, if you're in a house fire, before you burn alive, you die of suffocation because of the smoke. But we're just going to voluntarily sit outside on a park bench and inhale this shit that's even worse than all the paint burning in our house? Oh, yeah, you got lung cancer? I wonder why. So, newsflash, running backs are important. Smoking is bad for you. And this is the end of the video. Peace out, guys.